Hello everyone, this is Ali MK Hindi, and today I'm doing a video, the last video of the series From Chaos to Clarity, the literature review process. So today is the fifth episode. A quick recap of what we've done to date. So we started off by talking about the importance of deciding on the type of review. Then we discussed the backbone of your literature review, which is developing a search strategy and how fundamental that is. Then we moved on to talk about information sources. How do you extrapolate the relevant research literature? What are the ways in which you can do this? Last week, we talked about data extraction, so how you should have your data extraction form and the key things to include with it, as well as how you critically appraise the literature to get a feel for the quality of papers. Today, we're going to discuss, and pretty much this week, is synthesis of results, which is the last stage in the literature review process. So really what you want to do when you're synthesizing results, you want to consider things, a couple of things in your analysis. Are there any trends in these papers that you gathered? What are the emerging themes? What are the literature gaps? Now, there are more than just these two ways, but these are the two common ways in which people analyze the data. So there's a narrative synthesis, which is more qualitative. And then there's a meta-analysis, which is quantitative, and it uses statistical methods to draw conclusions. Now, that's within the scope of this video. I'm planning in the future to give a webinar where we're going to go deep into each of these methods of analysis and when are they relevant and whatnot. This is more just giving you a basic overview of what synthesis is and what are the things to avoid. So we're going to keep it simple. We're going to use just examples here. Let's start off with what is synthesis of results. One of the first thing I want to get clear here is that synthesis of results is not paraphrasing and summarizing. So this is where I think some people, particularly who are new to the process, get it wrong. Synthesis involves integrating content from multiple sources to form a new narrative. So you're forming new knowledge. You're not just paraphrasing or summarizing what these papers did. So you're evaluating different perspectives and evidence, you're referencing your sources appropriately, and you're presenting a coherent argument. So in a nutshell, this is where you're creating new knowledge. Because if you think of it, up until this point in the literature review process, you've not created new knowledge. Yes, you've done the hard work of finding the right literature review, setting the strategy, running the database search, doing the data extraction form. But up until this point, you've not yet created new knowledge. All you've done is you've gathered and pulled the knowledge and picked out the key bits of work that's already done. So this is really a key skill, because if you don't get this right, your literature review is going to fall short. So I'm going to use three examples. This is a very simplistic example. And as I said, because we want to keep these videos short, there will be a time and place for the long, more technical videos. So let's just use this example as researcher one, and this is a hypothetical example, so I'm not shaming somebody publicly. And I'm just going to give you a bit of time to read it, and just tell me what you think. I'm not going to... So anyway, for the interest of time, they're writing about findings from one study, Smith et al. 2020, and they mention a few things they found in that study. So what do you think is the verdict on this? So for me, there's two issues. Well, one, which is obvious, they're relying on too much quotes from a single healthcare service journal. Where is the synthesis here? They're just mentioning this one study, and then it lacks original analysis or interpretation of the findings. They're not really interpreting the findings. So if you go back to it, they're just saying, this is a recent study, this is what the authors found. According to the study, this is what they found. Furthermore, this study highlighted. So where is sort of your analysis as the author? It doesn't come into play. So it falls short in these aspects. Researcher two, I'll just give you probably 30 seconds to read this example, and then let me know what you think. So anyway, not to make this long, awkward silence. In a nutshell, they have cited more than one study. So we have three studies here. They're talking about a study by Johnson et al. And then they go on to talk about Smith et al., how they explored also patient perspectives of telemedicine. And then there's something about Jones et al. So better than researcher one. But what is my issue with this? So as I alluded to earlier, they included quotes from three different healthcare services discussing telemedicine, sorry, not hospital admission rates. But the main issue is that they're not offering their own insights or analysis. So there's a lack of original contribution. They didn't really show me that they understood this topic and they were able to draw the links between these three papers. All they really did is just mention or paraphrase what these three papers did. So if you look at it here, that's where it falls short. There's no link. What is the link between study 1, 2, and 3? Are they similar? Are they the same? How are they all sort of linked together? What is the thread, word that I love to use, by the way? Moving on to the last example, researcher 3. So for the interest of time, I'll fast forward to this one. This one talks about electronic health records. It also uses 3 studies. But what this one does really well, which the other two don't, is they synthesize information from multiple studies and they offer original analysis. So they're not only presenting the findings of each study, but they're identifying the common themes and insights. They're providing their own perspective on the significance of electronic health record interoperability. They're demonstrating critical thinking and synthesis from multiple sources, resulting in a well-rounded and insightful write-up. So if you look back, they didn't just say, well, Smith et al. Investigated the impact of electronic health record and then straight away moved to the next study. No, they're mentioning what they found. And then they're saying, similarly, Johnson et al. Conducted a longitudinal study and this is what they found. And then they're linking it. The findings revealed a positive correlation. And then when they mention the third study, they add their own insights. These studies collectively highlight the importance of EHR interoperability in enhancing care coordination, improving patient outcomes, and promoting provider satisfaction in healthcare settings. So see what they did here. They put different sources and they synthesize them. They put their own sort of lens, their own insights. They show what the link is between study 1, 2, and 3. And that's really what it did well. So in a nutshell, that concludes this video. This is what I really wanted to get out is the importance of differentiating between just summarizing and paraphrasing and actually synthesizing results, generating new information. Now, tomorrow, I will put a carousel around narrative synthesis, meta-analysis, and a whole other ways in which you can analyze the data. So thank you for tuning in. That will be the end of this short series. If you enjoyed it, let me know. I am planning to do an actual webinar and series sometime in the future. I'm not going to put a date on it because you don't know what happens in life. But anyways, if you found this useful, like, comment, repost, and do all the amazing stuff we do on LinkedIn. Peace and love, everyone.